if we think about it, how can we really honestly quantify or codify who did what for what reason? Like that would require us to be in the midst of people's relationships, and there's no way for us to really do that. I mean,
it's a chicken or the egg argument.
right, right.
Yeah.
So it's
basically you would never, because you know what I mean, because there's two people involved in that relationship, you would never fully get to the bottom of it, because she's gonna say he did this, and then he's gonna say, well, you did this, and then she's gonna say, well, you did this to make me do that. And so that's the reason why I guess that's part of the reason why they say irreconcilable differences, is because if you started to try to really nail home why they got a divorce, both of them participated majority of the time and the reason why the marriage and the relationship starts to fall apart. But let me say this.
But one of them gave up.
But yeah, but let me say this. To answer Lucky's question, men aren't asking women to marriage because, and let's just keep commitment in the sense of marriage, because that's the ultimate commitment, because that comes with a lot of risk and everything that comes involved in that. Men are afraid to commit because they're afraid of the reasons, they're afraid of the outcomes of a divorce. Women, however, are responding. Women, however, are dealing with these men to the level in which they're like, okay, well, now they're afraid of dealing with men because there is no commitment. If that makes sense. So men are afraid of committing, and the women are afraid to deal with the men because there is no commitment.
But I would even counteract that, because there's a lot of women who are attaching themselves to this idea now of multiple date. They're finding ways, and there are multiple women influencers now that are coming up with saying, hey, this is why you should date multiple people, right? So to me, when you're dating multiple people, you're practicing the art of detachment. Then you're also practicing the art of learning to walk away. Like dating is, the practice of divorce. Dating is the practice of breakups. So there are a lot of women now that are saying, hey, I should be able to date multiple people because it's going to reap me this results. And this has been a huge trend on TikTok, right? Then there are also a lot of women who are saying, hey, I got multiple boyfriends, or the sneaky link thing, or even the idea of, I don't need a man anything except for dick and money, right? So when you're listening to the language, I can absolutely say that men have this hesitancy of committing towards marriage. That's never been a new thing, though, if we're being honest.
Right.
Like that didn't just happen. But overall, we have seen a widespread mass of women who are saying at the drop of a hat, let's leave. You're seeing that constantly. And you're also seeing a lot of women who are saying, I would just rather be alone. It's a study now that just came out that said there are more women who are single now than ever before, not just a Black woman thing. And it's also saying, in comparison to men, women who are single and do not have children tend to live happier lives. It just came out. It's a very new study, like October 2022.
That's because all the box wine that they consume.
But I do want to add to what
I wanted to say something.
So go ahead, say it.
I'm sorry, Lucky. Well, and it's actually to answer your question on how should we measure or judge, pretty much. I'll say in actions. And I'm not going to talk about men or women, but people get married and they don't commit. They actually walk through the aisle and they don't commit. And there's people that are not married who are very committed to each other. My father and my stepmom have been together for over 20 years and they're not legally married. So that proves that it's not a paper, it's not actually getting married that says that you're going to commit to somebody. It's your actions.
Exactly.
So the actions is what tells us is the person is committed to you or not. And then you should not commit until you get proposed. You should commit to a relationship before you jump into that. That's the start line. It's not the end of it's the start line.
Yeah. So I tend to agree in part with that. But do you think a majority of women would want any kind of commitment that's not legal? Don't you think most women want a legal commitment from a man?
Yeah, because it benefits them worse. It benefits them more. Absolutely.
That's one of women's.
Just to be honest, men would love
security.
Men would love not to be tied to your ass.
Let the ladies answer this one. Let the ladies answer this.
In general, I think it's stupid. We're all women. We're born and we're immediately by society told that we're supposed to be wives and have kids, and that's what our nature says that we are to be that. So we dream about getting married from the first boyfriend. At least in my case, I cannot speak, but like, you know, all my friends will all dreamt of getting married. My sisters are married, you know, so it's normal. And we all want that. But I agree partially. Someone said we don't commit to a specific man because you commit to somebody that is the same as submission. People is afraid of the word, but it is a synonym. Devotion is another one. Dedication is another one. So all this is tied together. But we don't do it because we don't trust the person. You don't trust fully that person. When you don't trust, you don't commit to that person.
Mhm.
And that was pretty much what I'm saying, because if we're saying the male is more hesitant, then that would be the obvious answer as to who's more fearful, because they're still willing to still use that woman to get her actions of commitment, whatever that looks like. And then once you get to the point where it's too serious, there's some hesitancy still there, even though her action shows she's committed.
But if his action, all right, so let's just keep it at actions, right? Let's just say commitment is actions rather than marriage, right? Then a guy, there wouldn't be no such thing as why would you buy the cow if you can get the milk for free? Because
Correct.
he's legitimately still with her. That's still a commitment. And he just never popped the question.
Correct.
So there's still two groups.
So to avoid that, and kind of to Paris' point earlier about the dating and how the dating is pretty much setting up for failure, that would mean to fix that, the first person you meet that wants to date you should be asking to marry you within a certain time frame, pretty much. So that means that most people are ready for that. That just doesn't seem like that's reality to say.
But there's a such thing as not being compatible. It's a such thing as not being compatible and not really fit. Like the point of dating, and this is why I had a little pushback to what she was saying earlier, but I didn't say it. But it's because the point of dating is for you to see who you're compatible with and who is. Shout out to my man Truth Light, who is suitable for you, right? And so you want a person who is suitable for you and compatible to you. And that's the purpose of dating. Dating is not supposed to be a heavy thing. Dating is supposed to be lightly courting and getting to know people and to see, you know what I'm saying, what fits you and what works for you. So I think that a lot of times in modern society, we've done a little bit too much, but there's nothing wrong with the institution of dating, how it was set up, in order to know what suits you and what's compatible for you.
I think a lot of people try to.
I will say, going back, Lucky, to what you and Sweeney was saying. Let's talk about the action part, right? And this is how you can tailor commitment, because we're talking about marriage, but again, commitment is an umbrella. There are a lot of things that go, I showed you commitment. One thing being is you can have a man and a woman in a relationship, whether they're in the house together or not. Her expectation of him is for him to meet her somewhere financially, right? But we see women all the time that says, when I'm mad at you, you get no sex. When I'm mad at you, you get no, I don't cook for you. I don't clean for you. I'm not your mom. I don't show up for you and do those things that I should be doing that would entail, quote unquote, my duty in this relationship. Or even like now, the whole Black women don't owe you shit, but you're entitled for him to protect you, right? So men never stop showing up in that way. The commitment is they've honored it. They show up, they, overall, in a general sense, because we know that there are some men who don't. But in a general sense, right, if a man gets mad, he can't say, fuck her, not paying the bills this month, right? He don't get that denunciation. But you see, when women get mad, they say, he wanted me to cook. Fuck that. He wanted me to buy something. Fuck that. He wanted peace and quiet in his house. Fuck that. They stop showing up. So that's why I say you will see in a multifaceted of ways. Women are not as committed as men. Women do not commit the way men do, and women are not necessarily dedicated to the commitment the way men are.